Kia ora, bros and girls, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do things a little bit differently this month, and I've decided that we're going to do like a 4-star challenge. So we're going to try to take on Uncollected with only 4 stars. I know there's kind of 2 tiers of people that kind of watch these YouTube videos, either ones that are going to struggle with the boss, or ones that have like a massive skill set, a massive roster, you're all 5-star R4s and stuff, but you can't quite get around a particular boss. And then there's the whole other spectrum, which is you've just become Uncollected. You only really have 4 stars, maybe one 5-star R4, and you're trying to get your head around like, okay, well, can it be done? How am I gonna do this? So either Uncollected is like super easy for you, apart from the bosses, or the whole process of it's kind of hard. So I'm gonna take in some 4 stars, only 4 stars, and we're gonna try and show that we can do most of these maps with only maxed out 4 stars, sometimes even less. And we're gonna just go through probably each map. I don't know if this month we'll be able to complete the final boss with 4 stars, because let me tell you, man, he was hard enough with 5. But I am gonna say it can be done, because there is a couple of videos out there of people finishing Thanos with 4 stars without revives, using a combination of Hyperion and Blade. Blade Trinity kind of works pretty well against him as well. And then if you have an Avenger, it doesn't really matter actually in this particular month whether they're 4-star or not. You just gotta. It's a lot more skill based than it is champ based. But yeah, so getting back to this, I guess there are a few champs that are gonna make this. They're gonna make most of Uncollected pretty easy, actually. And to be fair, with Chapter 1, even if you just have a 4-star team, you can still come in here and kick ass and go through it. Chapter 1, it's generally not too hard. I didn't do a video for Chapter 1 Map 1 because I didn't think about it when I did that, and it was too easy anyway, so nobody would probably watch it. But obviously you could do Chapter 1 Map 2. Chapter 2 is when it starts getting a little bit tricky. The bosses start getting a little bit more life. They start getting a little bit more difficult. The nodes start getting a little bit more complex. And you kind of have to plan accordingly. And then Chapter 3 can be really, really quite hard. And so, yeah, Uncollected is all about basically matchups, having the good matchups, having the right champs for the boss, and having like a good team that can clear a particular lane. And as you start getting into chapters 2 and 3, the nodes on the lines matter a bit more, and the nodes on the boss matter a bit more. And that's why it's kind of interesting, right? That's kind of why it's challenging. That's kind of why we like to do it month on month, because every month there's a little bit of a different challenge. The champs that worked last month don't really work this month. Now you got to think about a different way of beating the boss. You can't bring the champs you want because you've got to clear a particular line, and to clear that particular line you need, specific requirements. So you need like maybe some immune champs, or some poison immune, or someone who can deal with thorns. And so if you have a line like Thorn's line, where you've got to bring in your crossbones and your black widows and stuff like that, then all of a sudden you might not be able to bring your champs that you want. You might not be able to bring the synergies that you want. So what I tend to like to do, and what I still continue to do with 4 stars, is I'll have a couple of champs that I use to clear lane. So Corvus, of course, everybody knows I love Corvus. He's absolutely amazing. I have him in 5-star, and I have him as a maxed out 4-star. But little Corvus, the 4-star version, is, he's just as effective, to be honest. You might have to wait a little bit longer, but he absolutely rips Uncollected, a new one. So he's very good. Blade's very good. anyone with a regen, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, basically anyone who's going to be able to get you to that lane. Now the nodes on in the first map, both map 1 and map 2, they don't really matter too much. They're silly things like Optimist, Pessimist, and just not really tough nodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear that. We're going to get to the boss. We're going to see if we can do the boss with the 4-star. And to be fair, we're not really doing too terribly with Corvus here. We're just kind of getting through, clearing lane, and just trying to get to the boss. So now we're up, and this boss is going to be a little bit funky with 4 stars. Cull Obsidian. So the lane was pretty easy, but this guy has got protection, shielding, enhanced SP2, mystic conditioning, so you can't really kind of nullify him as much as you'd like. Conquest. He has 3 missions. He could do a lot of damage based on that route, based on Thanos' favor, which gives him a whole bunch of abilities. He can. He's got 100%. If he kind of like dashes back and holds block, he can get up to 100% ability accuracy reduction. He's got chances to stun. He's got this combo meter thing. He's kind of a mix between Corvus and Venom the Duck in a way, because he gets buffs. He has route. He collects Thanos' favor, which makes him do a lot more damage. So my first attempt, I'm gonna come in with Archangel. This is 4-star rank 4 actually, not even maxed. And what I'm gonna try to do, get away from the unblockable SP1 first. But what I'm also going to try to do is just try to bleed him out. The reason I'm not using Corvus or whatever, the reason I brought in like Void and Iceman and Archangel is mainly for the boss. I brought in Corvus to clear the lane, but these guys are there to do damage over time. I mess up there a little bit, but my intention with Archangel was to kind of block him, get those neurotoxins in, and just let the damage over time kill him, because he's got protection shielding, so you can't do more than 3% damage to him at a time anyway. So the next attempt we're going to do is Void. We're going to bring in Void. This guy's SP1, until you're used to it, is a little bit interesting to avoid, and it caught me out quite a few times the first time. So he then yells at you, and then he charges. I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know this at the time that I recorded the first video, and it always catches me out. Like every time I go do another map and I come back and I face him, it catches me out. But now watching the video over and over again, I'm like, oh yeah, I see how it is. So what he does is he yells at you. I always like, I'm like, oh yeah, he's yelled at me, I can go in. But actually he yells at you, he pauses, and then he comes and throws his hammer at you, and you've got to evade that. So I think a little bit later on in this fight, I'm going to figure it out, but it was kind of just force of habit, because his heavy kind of looks the same as well. So another option, I'm going to bring in this Iceman. Now, apart from Void, Iceman and Archangel are both only rank 4s. They're not rank 5s. But it shouldn't matter anyway, because what we want to do is we just want to evade that SP1, get that damage over time. We can't do it more than 3% anyway, so we're not really looking for a massive DPS. We're not really looking for a massive damage cap. All we're looking for is to just survive in the fight and and keep that passive damage over time coming. So SP3 looks kind of cool, but yeah, as you can see, he's a lot tougher with he's a lot tougher against 4 stars than he is against 5 stars. Because with 5 stars you have the defense, you have increased character rating, you have a little bit more of a hit point pool, health wise. You probably do a little bit more damage as well. Even your passive do higher kind of like damage over time, and so yeah, it makes it a little bit easier. But anyway, we decided, hey, we're going to do this with 4 stars. Hopefully we're going to do it with 4 revives to show that it can be done. And so we are going to do it. We're going to bring in Blade for this one. And I don't have the synergy for Blade. So as you can see there, I kind of always mess up on that SP1. But yeah, we don't really have that synergy for Blade. So it's not like we're going in and we're getting that villain or dangerous answer shutting down any of his abilities. Now we're going to have to be quite careful. I have Corvus. He's going to break into that protection shielding. So this is going to be a different strategy because if you're using someone with high damage here, you have to kind of get in, break that protection shielding, and then go to town and just do a lot of damage. Luckily, because I'm a 4-star, I'm not really hitting that. That range anyway of protection shielding. So it doesn't really matter. Now I have with that SP2. And the good thing is I've also got the glaive charges, and the glaive charges will help me kind of survive as well. So see, I eventually get that SP1 with Corvus, but it takes me a while to kind of reprogram my mind. And so if you're struggling with evading his SP1, remember, it almost looks like he finishes when he throws it and yells at you there, but then he's going to come at you again. And you can either block that, or you can just dash back when he comes at you. It's quite confusing if you're not used to this guy, because obviously he's quite new. So he's going to yell, he's going to come at me, I'm going to back off. And now I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got this. Now if I had gotten this about 5 minutes sooner in the video, I might have taken him out with Archangel. And you probably will too. That's the whole point of these videos. Teach, learn, share, and then you probably won't make the same mistakes that I do, and you'll be able to have a much easier time. But yeah, so that's basically it. Just watch out for that SP1. You can either bring damage overtime champs or someone who's going to last. Star-Lord will work in here as well. Star-Lord, 4-star Star-Lord, and Corvus. My 4-star Star-Lord isn't leveled up yet. I've got him ready to be awakened and level 99. He's not leveled up yet, so when I do level him up, I'll start bringing him into these things. But yeah, if this helped you out, do like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your team, share it with your alliance, share it with your friends. All that stuff helps out and helps support the channel. And yeah, thank you very much. Kakitiano. We'll see you in the next one.